also called stomatal apparatus also. So when you take the stomatal complex or stomatal apparatus, you're having three components. So among the three components, this part, I'm shading, that part is the most important part in the whole complex. If you take as an example, so this part is called stoma. Stoma is a singular word and stomata is a plural word. So this is called stoma, singular. So stoma means pore. Okay. So around the stoma pore, you are having two cells called guard cells. The number will be 2. The guard cells shape will be different in different plants. Usually only two shapes we find for guard cells. One is bean shaped and other one is dumbbell shaped. So here you can observe it's a bean shaped structure or kidney shaped in other words. Okay, this is the second component of stomatal complex. And around the bean shaped guard cells, we are having numerous cells called subsidiary cells. These cells are also known as accessory cells. This is the other name for subsidiary cells. So when you take the whole stomatal complex, you'll be having a stoma, a pore, 2 guard cells, and numerous accessory cells or subsidiary cells. Okay. Now when you take the whole stomatal complex, why I'm just repeating this concept. In the last session with all the concepts, this is the last concluding concept. I'm repeating this because this weekend you might be having a test. So in this test, one or other student feel tough about the questionnaire. That's why I'm repeating this concept again. Clear? Now when you take the stomatal complex, this stomatal complex is involved in 2 life processes which are very important to plant. So what are those 2 life processes? One is the most important process called photosynthesis.
Transpiration of gases.
Yes. The second one is transpiration. So both the processes are very important to a plant. So when you take photosynthesis, so you will be reading about photosynthesis from 3rd standard onwards. So photosynthesis is nothing but taking in carbon dioxide with water in the presence of sunlight. You will get an organic molecule synthesis called glucose. In this process, oxygen will be released. So this taking in carbon dioxide, release of oxygen. This kind of process requires presence of sunlight only when chlorophyll is present. Chlorophyll is the pigment present in leaves and even stems also. Okay. Only the underground part of plant will not have chlorophyll. So the underground part means definitely root. Other than root, sometimes some of the stem parts may go underground during the plant growth. So those parts will lose chloroplast and chlorophyll also. So chlorophyll is a green pigment which will be present always in aerial parts of plant. It's the stem, branches and leaves. So along with chlorophyll, you will find stomata. Okay. So here if you take this whole apparatus, here the guard cells possess chlorophyll molecules in chloroplast. So these are all chloroplast molecules with the filled chlorophyll. And you will have single nucleus in each guard cell. Each guard cell will have one nucleus. Okay. So here what happens, the taking in carbon dioxide and releasing out oxygen in photosynthesis process, and loss of water from the plant also happens through the stomatal complex only. Okay, here pattern of question, like how a question can be framed regarding this concept, either the structure or the processes which are related to the structure of stomata. Today, kind of question can be framed like, suppose a question can be asked, find the odd one out. Okay. In the options, you may not find one of the part of stomatal complex. Something like find the odd one out will be the question. They will not mention from where you have to find the odd one out. They will not mention. You just say find the odd one out. And they will give list of cells or list of some components. Suppose here, assume that in option 1 they have given stoma. And in option 2, they may give the guard cell. In option 3, they may give subsidiary cell. And in option 4, they may give some other cell name. Some other cell name which may be a companion cell or some other cell name like the sieve tube, something like that. So this part is not a component of stomatal apparatus. So when the question is like this, you have to be familiar with what are the different components of a particular complex or a particular concept. Okay, and kind of question can be asked guard cells. So the part which is not seen in guard cell, they may give chloroplast, chlorophyll, nucleus, and along with them they may give vacuole. So vacuole we won't find here, vacuoles we won't find for storage of food in guard cells. So this kind of questions can be asked, kind of tricky questions where they'll not mention in particular what is the concept, and they may ask like this, odd one or unfollow one, something like that. Okay, so this is about the stomatal complex and the processes in which the stomata are involved. So when you take the stomata opening process, so if you take these as guard cells, and here this is the stoma pore. So how the carbon dioxide gets in and how the oxygen goes on for the process of photosynthesis or diffusion of gases. In other words, we can say. So how that happens? So this happens by the close and opening of stoma. How this pore gets opened and closed, that determines the major factor in taking in carbon dioxide and giving out oxygen. Okay. The stomatal pore opening closing will be controlled by various factors. This whole stomatal pore closing and opening will be controlled by factors like sunlight. So in the sunlight, photosynthesis generally happens. So in the presence of sunlight, the stomata will open. But not the whole daytime. Sunlight will be available whole daytime from morning to evening. But not the whole daytime stomata will be open. During daytime, at midday, the hot afternoon time, the stomata will get closed. So this is the point you have to understand. Like they may ask the stomatal pore is open throughout the daytime to take sunlight and go for photosynthesis. So that statement is not correct at all. The whole daytime stomatal pore will be open to carry out photosynthesis. It's a wrong statement. Why? Because when it becomes very hot condition, the stomata will close even at daytime. For example, you can say midday. Okay. And on the other hand, during night time, the stomata will be closed. So the throughout night time, the stomata is closed. That's a correct statement. So why this opening and closing the statements we are discussing is in order to balance loss from the plant is the concept behind the opening and closing of stomata.
Ma'am, loss of?
See, here transpiration is the process where water will be lost from the leaf or the stem part. So during midday or hot day or hot afternoon time, most of the water will be lost. You can say evaporation in other words, generally. By evaporation, water will be lost. That process we call as transpiration, isn't it? So here, by evaporation, when water will be lost, the leaf will become shrinked. Shrinkage of leaf, I hope you know. By the evening time, the leaf will become tilted like this. When you compare the leaf position to the daytime. So this might be damp, and this condition you can observe at late afternoon. This is loss of water by the plant or by the leaf. Because of this shrinkage condition, because of the loss of water continuously, the pore gets closed. The stomatal pore gets closed. So when the pore gets closed, there won't be diffusion of gases. There won't be any photosynthesis. So that's how the close of stomata happens during hot climate. So the plant has to balance the water content in its body, isn't it? If the water is continuously lost, what happens? The plant leaves get shrinked and later it may lead to the wilting of the plant. Maybe, ultimately the total dryness of the plant and the death of the plant. If continuously water is lost at high rate during hot days, like hot summer or hot afternoons. So in order to avoid such unlimited loss of water by transpiration, plant will balance the loss of water by closing the stoma. Okay? Closing the stoma means there won't be any diffusion of gases. The gases cannot come in and gases cannot go out. So all the processes will be closed, not even photosynthesis, not even transpiration. So when it becomes somewhat cool or evening time or at night time, even then the plant leaves closes the stomata because sunlight won't be there at night time. So even then also the plant stomata. So this is how the opening and closing of stomata is controlled by factors like sunlight and the severity of the sun rays. And at midtime, they will be closed. During sunlight, at normal sunlight, they will be open. This is the process really happens.